All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. Glad you could all join us here tonight. Tonight, my ladies joining me once again. We have a great show with two phenomenal topics here that we're going to discuss between two segments. But before we get to that, let's welcome back the lady of every hour, in my opinion, my wonderful, beautiful, amazing lady who's on the StreamYard. Babe, welcome back to the show. Big round of applause. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back.
Yeah, we're happy to have you back, baby. I wasn't quite sure if you were going to make this show tonight. I thought you were going to take the night off, but you took a nap earlier while I was doing my walking stream, and you said, yeah, I'm good to go. Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
what is that, baby, in the background?
I just forgot to hit mute. I just hit it. I'm sorry.
Oh, that is okay. That is okay. Things happen. All right. The notification has gone out, and the back end of YouTube seems to be rolling smoothly. All right. Yeah, baby, how's your day going? How are you doing after last night's show? It's been great, huh?
Yeah. No, I've had a pretty good day. I had some errands to run this morning, going to the bank and whatnot. And then I had my appointment this afternoon, and that went very well. And I'm feeling really good about it. So yeah, when I got back home, I just, decided to just lay here and watch some TV, and I shut my eyes for maybe about 40 minutes. And then I got up and I got something to eat, and it's just been a pretty relaxing day.
Yeah, that's great to hear. It's been a great day for me as well. Been preparing for our weekend. Last night's show where we talked about quality sleep and people not getting enough sleep. What's the word? It's people being sleep deprived. And
yeah.
when you and I figured that out, which is what was happening to you, why you've been so cranky and irritable at times because you've been sleep deprived, we decided to take some immediate drastic measures. We got some new sheets that we ordered and some new pillows and stuff, and I've been receiving the product, and this weekend we're gonna test it out and let people know how big of a difference it makes to have good quality sheets, have a good comfy bed, have a great cooling type of pillow with memory foam, and I look forward to it, baby. I'm really excited actually because if you can do things to help your partner or help each other feel better, that's an amazing thing. And us helping other people figure out ways to feel better is going to make them more productive. What are your thoughts about that before we get to tonight's topic here?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm super excited to just to try it all out and see if that does make a difference. You know that I'm very particular about my pillows. I bring mine all the time where we go. I bring it to your house when we go overnight trips. So yeah, the pillow is very important for a good night rest.
Right.
So I'm really excited. And I even talked with my doctor today about the sleep deprivation, and she completely agrees that it completely throws people off, and it can almost exacerbate any kind of depression or mental illness that you already have going on.
Meaning it makes it even worse.
Yeah, exacerbate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it doubles, quadruples, or doubles, triples, and quadruples, the depression and anxiety, which, I mean, it's tough enough to deal with as is, but yeah, when you're sleep deprived, everything is like 3-4 times greater.
she said it's like you're a stick of dynamite and that fuse is going and it can just explode at any moment when you're that sleep deprived. Anything
Yep.
can set you off.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm really glad that, I mean, we're not going to know 100% until we see your primary care physician. You're talking about your therapist that you had a phone conversation with her today. You did a phone session because she's got to go do some surgery or something, you were telling me. But when we actually get you into your actual primary care physician, I'm sure the sleep deprivation is going to be probably the most major thing. But at least we've got a good jump start, and we're going to manage your situation and make you feel as healthy and comfortable as possible until we get to the doctor, right, baby? That's
Oh
the way
yeah,
to do it. Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, the same way with how you manage your stuff. You've been doing your daily regimens of your allergy medicine. It's just about me getting onto a regimen that a doctor prescribes, because over the
Right.
counter stuff is not cutting it.
Oh no, you've got probably worse allergies than I do, more severe allergies than I do, and you definitely have more of a sinus issue than I do, or the typical person. I mean, you have chronic sinus issues, and that has to be addressed by a doctor, and you're probably going to need some real prescribed medication to manage it. But hey, we're on the right track, right, baby?
Yeah, yes. And I was talking with my mother today, and she says I have always had chronic sinus issues. So this has been going on my whole life. And it just, when the allergy season gets to be bad, that's when it gets worse for my sinuses. And I can go
Right.
months without feeling well, and having constant drainage. And yeah, it's rough, and I don't like to take anything super strong to sleep, you know. I'd rather just sleep naturally.
Right. Right. No, I have a feeling that you're going to get prescribed probably some, you know, prescription medication, or the prescription version of allergy medication, a pretty strong dosage, and probably something else for your sinuses as well. That's my guess. I'm only putting it out there because I'm not a doctor, but I'm very intuitive, and I'm curious to see, how spot on my diagnosis is, not being a doctor compared to a real doctor's diagnosis. But anyway, baby, we're not here to play doctor and nurse and patient. We're here to get to the show tonight, right, baby? Ready to get to it?
Yes, yes.
All right. The
But you and
topic
I
of
can play doctor and nurse.
well, we'll do that over the weekend, baby. Now that we've got your symptoms managed, we'll take care of that. But or take care of the other things. But anyway, tonight we're going to be discussing 6 ways to communicate your intimacy needs, plus highly sensitive people. One more time, 6 ways to communicate your intimacy needs, plus highly sensitive people. We've got 2 amazing blogs we're going to be dissecting tonight, my lady and I, and we're going to do one per segment. My lady actually sent me these blogs earlier this morning. When I saw them, I'm like, this is great. And whether she does a show with me or not, I'm going to discuss these tonight, or we're going to discuss these tonight as a team, because it's just, they're that good. They're very important. So let's go ahead and switch on over to the browser screen and get to the first of 2. It'll update on your end, baby, in just about a minute or so. This is from Psychology Today, and the title is Intimacy Matters, 6 Ways to Communicate Your Needs. One more time, Intimacy Matters, 6 Ways to Communicate Your Needs. How to identify or share your personal truth. And it was written by Susanna Wu Pong Calvert, PhD, MAPP, RPH. All very fancy, designations for a therapist, right, baby?
Yeah, she's got it covered.
Yeah. She's got every designation known to man and womankind. She also runs the business, The Heart of Healing, so check her out if you'd like. And this was actually posted on August 15th, 2022, just about 3 days ago. What I really like about the blogs and the information you seek out, baby, it's very, very new and relevant. So I greatly appreciate your efforts regarding that. So let's get to the key points here. Key points. Cultivating self-awareness on the deepest levels creates intimacy with one's own inner world and personal truth. Connecting to inner wisdom on small and large matters enables people to live more authentically and mindfully. Practices such as mindfulness, reflection, and communicating with clarity, vulnerability, and respect can transform relationships. All great key points there. I really have nothing much to add to them. I think they pretty much speak for themselves. Anything you want to add to those key points there before we move forward, baby?
No, I absolutely agree with you. I really don't have anything else to add to that.
Okay, let's continue here. Intimate relationships offer great benefits, including greater health and well-being, and improve our odds of survival by 50%. Holt-Lundstad, 2010. People are more likely to thrive when they feel intimately connected to significant others. Petro Monaco, 2017. I have to agree with that, baby. I think men and women that are in a happy and healthy mentally and emotionally bonding relationship, and also physically bonding relationship. When you have the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, and you're consistently intimate with each other, there's no better feeling. And that feeling keeps both sides very happy, which also keeps both sides very healthy. What are your thoughts regarding that, baby?
I agree. I absolutely agree. And it doesn't have to be anything, it doesn't necessarily have to be sexual. This is intimacy on every level. It's an emotional bond that you have with your partner. I mean, there are some times when you and I just sit on the couch and you're just holding me and we're watching TV, and that is the most intimate times that we feel together. It's just really special.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel really
Yeah.
great after stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I had to just take care of something real quick. But no, you're absolutely right, baby. And here's the thing. I feel the same way. And that's the way it's kind of been with us at times. Sometimes when you and I are exhausted, it's not that we don't want to actually have sex. We do, but sometimes when we're so tired, or, for you, it's been sleep deprivation, which we now know it's been that, right? We don't have to necessarily have sex. We can lay there in bed. We can snuggle up. I can put my arm around you. You can lay your head on my shoulder, and it's a beautiful feeling. I mean, it's an amazing
It is.
feeling. Like, I'll be honest with you, baby. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm a guy. I like sex. I like vagina. You're a woman. You like penis. I get it, baby. Right? But honestly,
Yes.
the emotionally, what's that, baby?
Oh, I was just agreeing with you.
It's almost, to me, the non-sexual intimacy is almost better than the actual intimacy. Not saying that the actual physical intimacy isn't good, but it's that emotional bond that, in my opinion, is one of the most important aspects of a relationship. You've got to have that emotional bond. The man and the woman both need to bond emotionally. Jackson Black
Yeah.
is in the. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, when you do have that emotional bond, then the sex that you do have is like fireworks.
It's better.
It's the best sex ever. And that's
Absolutely.
all I have to say about what you and I have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you end up actually having sex after having that emotional bond, it is like fireworks. It is like Independence Day, 4th of July, all day, every day. Jackson Black is in the house. Hey, Coach. Hope all is well. Yeah, everything is well. Yeah, my lady was able to join me again here tonight for another show. And again, thank you for being here, Jackson. All right, baby. Let's continue here. Let's see. Recently, I published a post concerning how to build intimacy with others. The communication skills discussed mainly involve helping others feel understood, accepted, and cared for. Pietro Monaco 2017, Laurentiu 1998, Res 1988, the foundational skills needed for intimate relationships. But what about when it is your turn to share? It is difficult to communicate our needs unless we understand ourselves first. Indeed, self-awareness improves our ability to manage ourselves and others. Components of emotional intelligence. I'm not going to read where he got this information from because these are hard to read and it's unnecessary. I'll just skip it. It also offers many additional benefits, including healthy personal development, better decision-making, self-confidence, and improved workplace performance. So my thoughts there, baby, is this. I think women have always been better at expressing themselves emotionally because that's how women were biologically hardwired to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But for men, it's not easy. It's not easy for most men to even open up emotionally at all because a lot of men think that opening up emotionally at all is a sign of weakness. And no, it actually is a sign of strength. You need to be able to communicate your emotions at times with your lady and share those emotionally bonding moments with her and communicate with her at that deep level. If not, it's not going to work. And if not, I have to ask, why would you want to be in a relationship or marriage if you wouldn't want to emotionally bond and be emotionally open with your partner? But like they say here also, baby, self-awareness. A lot of people are not self-aware, especially most men nowadays, and a lot of men lack emotional awareness. What are your thoughts regarding what I've said and what was written so far?
Yeah, no, I do agree with you. Women do tend to communicate a little bit better their feelings, their emotions, what their wants and needs are. Um, and men do tend to hold them in. I fortunately have found you, and you are not like that. So we have the best communication because we both know what we want in this relationship. And if more men could just get into touch with their emotions and realize this, then there'd be more successful relationships, happier people. I would think less, affairs going on in marriages. I think it
Mm-hmm.
just all would be a better environment.
Yeah, yeah. Well said, baby. Well said. Let's continue. You may feel that you have an adequate understanding of your physical needs and preferences. Understanding our emotional world is more challenging since our feelings and reactions stem from an array of values, beliefs, personality traits, fears, cultural conditioning, and areas of ignorance that are frequently outside our conscious awareness, also called our subconscious or shadow. I have nothing else to add to that. It pretty much speaks for itself. Anything you want to add to that paragraph, baby?
No, yeah, that's
Yeah.
accurate.
You and I are very much alike. It's so scary, but scary good, baby.
I know we
Yeah.
like literally we finish each other's sentences, and I know that sounds all cliche and stuff, but we honestly do. And that's why we are sometimes talking over each other when we're doing
Hmm.
this, because I know exactly what you're going to say, and it
Well,
just falls out of my mouth.
you were also sleep deprived, and you were even trying to give me hints that as it gets later, you're not able to do these shows. But tonight and last night, you got some good rest, and we're not really starting that late, so it's all good. Let's continue. Like the proverbial
Alrighty.
iceberg. Yes, like the proverbial iceberg, this large and potentially treacherous terrain can submarine. God, this is a very profound sentence, baby. Submarine the best of intentions and relationship chemistry if ignored. submarine, meaning it could sink like the Titanic, right, baby? Is that
Think
what
it.
they're trying to mention?
Yep. Yep.
We've got to translate
Yep.
this
It
shit
could
for
sink.
our people that don't understand this type of language, this type of vocabulary.
Oh,
Um,
I think our viewers might, I don't want to discredit them. I'm sure our viewers that are watching understand.
oh, they get it. They get it.
I,
That's
I
that
want to give them
they get it.
credit. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll give them credit. That sounds good. On the other hand, the shadow also contains rich opportunities to access the inspiration, healing, and joy that are simultaneously blocked alongside our submerged beliefs and feelings. So, yeah, I got nothing more to, add to that. Let's just continue here, baby, and get to these segments here. Here's how to improve your awareness and appreciation for your hidden needs and feelings and communicate them to others. So there's 6 of these. Let's see. Practice mindfulness. We'll read through each one of these and then we'll each share our thoughts. There's a reason that so many self-help resources tout mindfulness and meditation as a practice. It works. You don't have to sit like a yogi to practice mindfulness. Hundreds of techniques are available. With some experimentation, you can find one that works for you. As a beginner, I found moving meditations or active poses such as yoga much more manageable and enjoyable than seated practices. Mindfulness is the practice of being in the here and now. When we clear our minds and notice what arises in silence, we may notice thoughts and feelings without attachment. For example, if I notice that I'm angry at my spouse, I can watch the thought and the associated feeling, then observe it as it floats away and diminishes. I feel calmer and better able to discern the next steps, if any. Yeah, mindfulness, baby. Being in the present moment
Yeah.
is something that all women are naturally and biologically made to be, right? But for men, it's not. So I think the issue comes into place, or the issue comes into play more so with men that are thinking about the future, that may be thinking about what happened in the past. I think the issue is more so men, especially modern men, now that women are liberated, being, mindful about the present moment. What are your thoughts and how important, I mean, I'm asking a woman this, can't believe it because it's obvious, but how important is the present moment to you and mindfulness?
Well, absolutely important. I want to, you know, say something about that one statement. If I notice that I'm angry at my spouse, I can catch the thought and associate the feeling and then observe it as it floats away. Now, that is really important in a relationship when you're communicating is you have to think why is this act angering me? What's going on? And then you have to let that go and then communicate it in a calm way. If you
Yeah.
just act instantly on your anger, then that's going to cause resentment. That's going to cause a divide in your relationship and less communication, which could lead to depression, affairs, and just the destruction of a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. No, makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Yeah, no, mindfulness is very important. And I'm the type of guy that, yes, I do think about the future, and yes, sometimes I'll think about the past. But I do take the present moment always into consideration, especially, when I'm around my lady, because I know that's what matters to her. And guys, if you want to make a relationship work, and keep the peace, you got to understand that women are always in the present moment, and anything to do outside of that present moment, even though it's necessary for women being liberated, they got to think about the future. It's out of their natural essence to think about anything besides the present moment. So, yeah, that was a very, very good, first part, baby. Let's move on to listen to your inner voice. While meditating, I also notice that I am separate from my thoughts, giving light to the phrase, I think, therefore I am. My consciousness, which is the observer, is separate from the beliefs and feelings that float by. That consciousness can also speak to me, but from a deeper, quieter place. This inner voice is the source of great wisdom and authenticity and conveys inner truth. I have not always been a mediator, but I have always instinctively known that sitting quietly and with a clear mind allows my inner truth to bubble through my confusion. I've learned over the years that I should never make a major decision without first connecting to my inner wisdom. Now my practice is to consult my inner voice when making small decisions too, and consequently, I now have a much greater sense of alignment with my authentic self throughout my life. So listen to your inner voice. You know, that's something I've always done. I tend to talk to myself quite often, baby, when you're not around. Sometimes even when you're around, and you do the same thing. Like, how important is listening to your inner voice? How often do you talk with yourself?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Yeah.
I've got to, sometimes if I'm not motivated to get up, I will literally say out loud, get your ass up and go take a shower and get the day started. I've got to hear it. And that is one thing, like my therapist was saying, is that when you journal your emotions and your feelings, the best thing to do is then read it out loud. Because when you're reading it out loud, you're hearing it and it's sinking in a different level. It's not just flowing out of you on paper.
Right.
And when you journal, that is your inner voice. You are speaking from the heart and how you truly feel.
Right. You're absolutely right, babe. And, a lot of people think that it's weird to talk with yourself or to yourself, right? Quite frankly, it's very, very normal. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, obviously, if you're hanging around a new group of people and you start talking with yourself around this new group that doesn't know you, it may be a little bit off. But when you're by yourself, I typically will talk to myself, with myself, to try to figure things out when I'm by myself. But if I'm with you, baby, I don't have a problem getting into that zone, or with family or anyone that I've known for a while. But it is not weird to talk with yourself. You're actually working through things. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's problem solving. You're problem solving out loud. Something that's going on, whether it's a serious problem or it's not. Sometimes I will literally sit here and say out loud what I need at the grocery store so that I can remember when I go there in case I forget the list, If I and then when I get to the grocery store, I'm like, okay, what did I say I needed? And boom, it comes right back to me. So as long as I'm saying it out loud, then I feel like, I'm listening to myself more than just like letting emotions out.
Yeah. Let's continue. That was well said. I think we hit the nail on the head with that one. Reflect and process. A writing or journaling practice can be very helpful for recording, processing, and integrating thoughts, feelings, and inner wisdom. It can also be used to record feedback from others, cause and effect. For example, what was the outcome when speaking from inner truth versus a fearful mind? Goal setting and noting progress. A data dump where one writes whatever comes to mind is also an effective strategy to clear the mind and may make it easier to discern your inner voice during mediation. Not mediation. Meditation.
Meditation.
I was just going to correct myself, and you have such an overpowering voice. When I try to correct myself, wow. It's meditation, not mediation. Meditation, like meditating. I'm sorry. My eyes are a little tired tonight. My fault. Yes. So I feel it's very important to do this. especially if you have a lot of traumatic issues you're trying to work through. I know you've had a lot of trauma you're dealing with, and I believe your therapist has told you to journal and write things down. Now,
Oh
as
yeah.
far as and we'll get to that in a second, but as far as myself goes, I'll tell you what I write down, or now I use my iPhone and use the notepad, right, baby? I mean, we use our phones now, right? Sometimes I may jot things down, but like the way I come up with topics, most of the time to do shows is when I'm watching other YouTube videos or reading other articles, right? And something that they mention gives me an idea to talk about. So what I will do is I will immediately put that, um, in my iPhone notes, because if not, literally 30 seconds or a minute later, I will forget, because we're
Yes.
consuming information so fast nowadays at the speed of light that you got to jot things down or you're going to miss out on, a great idea. And so,
Yes.
that's the extent of my writing and journaling is about that, taking notes for topics. But I honestly feel for people that are struggling to work through things, people that are trying to work through trauma and stuff, need to journal their journey and write things down, as a reference point. What are your thoughts regarding that? 'Cause I know you have personal experience there.
Oh yeah, no, I'm totally a supporter of journaling now. I didn't realize how therapeutic and productive it could be. My therapist also gave me some other pointers today that I could write down, like each day, my depression level, my anxiety level, so we can kind of monitor that to see what's going on, like what would have triggered me. Um, you know, but like it's just really I don't know, it's very therapeutic just to write down your feelings and then go back and
Yeah.
reread them and just take it all in. It almost validates your feelings that you have.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you don't have to be so angry. Then you're not so angry and taking it out on others.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. All right, let's continue. Honor with clarity. Living from your place of inner truth every day provides a sense of clarity that is not available when clinging to the confusing jumble of negative, fearful, and judgmental thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. My personal truth is just that, mine. No one can tell me otherwise, though I strive to be open minded and embrace the right to change my mind as I incorporate new information, facts, and perspectives. Communicating and expecting others to respect my personal truth reflect good boundaries. Let's see. My personal truth is also no one else's because it is my truth. It is not necessarily true for anyone else. I honor others' personal truth and boundaries without judgment too, even if I disagree with them. I also cannot discern whether they're speaking from an authentic mindset or from their deepest inner voice, for my journey is to speak with clarity from my own perspective only. So honor with clarity. So basically, what the blog author, what she's saying is, living from your place of inner truth provides a sense of clarity. The way I interpret this, baby, is very simply, and I'm going to state this and turn it over to you. Is that you got to love yourself and you got to trust
Yes.
yourself and you got to believe in yourself. And just go for whatever you want to accomplish. Be yourself. What
Yeah.
are your thoughts? Go ahead.
No, I knew exactly what you were going to say there. That is very important, is loving yourself, being comfortable with who you are as a person, and not getting not being affected by the judgment of other people and their projections on you. Yes, and your perspectives may change a lot in life. I know mine
Hmm.
have. So, when I talk to new people, they educate me on something, my perspective has changed from where it was before. So, keeping open thoughts and not being judgmental is going to keep you to be more peaceful on the inside.
Yeah, baby. I think what you're saying is keep an open mind and open heart. Be open.
Yes.
Be open to suggestions and change. And that's one of the most difficult things for people to do is be open to suggestions and change. I've encountered a lot of that out here on YouTube, in trying to help people. And, you can't help anyone unless they're open to the help. And you can't even help yourself
Yeah.
unless you're willing to participate in your own rescue. Go ahead, baby.
And typically, I want to say most people are not willing to help themselves when they don't love themselves.
Correct.
You have to
Correct.
have self-love in order to make the changes to better your life.
Right. 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 Anything else you want to add to that, baby? Or are you ready to keep moving forward?
Nope.
It's almost time
Let's go.
for our first break
Let's
here. We're at
go.
35 minutes. Be willing to be vulnerable, baby. That is huge. One more time. Be
Yeah.
willing to be vulnerable. I'm going to give the blog author a big round of applause just for stating that because that right there, this goes for both men and women. If both men and women do not allow themselves to be vulnerable, that means you're going to close yourself off to many opportunities in life that could have changed your life. When you and I met, baby, you had to allow yourself to be vulnerable to meet me and get to know me, and same on the flip side, right? Okay.
Yes.
When it comes to whatever you're trying to accomplish in life, you've got to take chances and allow yourself to be vulnerable. Now, like I've always said, whenever I discuss vulnerability, you have to also, mention, the word gullible. Be vulnerable, but not gullible. There's a difference between being vulnerable and gullible. Baby, I hear you. Go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's you want to be vulnerable, but you do not want to be taken advantage of. You do not want to be a doormat in anybody's life. So you have to have a slight guard up when you're going into a new opportunity, but you also have to let it down in order to let that other person in. And this goes beyond just relationships. It's even in your jobs and stuff. You have to be willing to be vulnerable. You can't walk in there all cocky and think they can't tell you how to do the job because you've never done it. You have
Right.
to let that go a little bit, be vulnerable to getting advice from other people, different perspectives. And then, if you're open to that, then you are going to create great relationships with people, whether they're at work, at school, at home, your spouse, your children, anybody.
Right. Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. I think I only read the first paragraph there. Oh no, I didn't even read it. I just read the
No,
title. We just went off the title. Wow. Wow, that was
no.
a ton of commentary based on all I read was be willing to be vulnerable. I haven't read the paragraph
Oh,
yet.
I thought you did. Yeah, I thought you did. I'm sorry. Go on.
No. Well. We've talked about vulnerabilities so many times in the past. We had a lot to say just off of that one word, baby.
I
Let's
guess,
read
yeah.
what the
Yeah, that one word
let's
triggered us.
triggered us. Yeah, baby. We got triggered by the word vulnerable. Anyway, let's continue. You've done the hard work involved in getting to know yourself. You have clarity about who you are and what you want, or at least more than you had before. You then decide what to share with others. The deeper you go, while taking care to avoid oversharing, the greater your opportunity to create emotional intimacy with others. I'm going to stop right there before we get to the next part. The more you allow yourself to be vulnerable, the more of a chance you take, the more you put yourself out there, and the less fear you have or fears you have, the more you're going to be able to create emotional intimacy with others. And it doesn't mean, sexual intimacy. It's just bonding with people in general for whatever reason, business purposes, friendships, dating relationships, right, baby? This is about just bonding
Yeah.
and connecting with people at a broad-based level. What are your thoughts before we continue?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I just know even just being out and about, I'm a social butterfly. I have no problem talking to just anybody on the street, and
Right.
it brings me, happiness. And you never know what people are going through in their lives. So if you could just say something nice to them, a total stranger, you might completely change their whole world. So yeah, I might be a little too vulnerable out there at times, but yeah, no, I totally taken that armor off, and I just go out there and I share love. I tell people that they're beautiful. I go up and I pet dogs on the street, and I'm just enjoying life.
Yeah. 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 That's just beautiful. You were making me think of that. I am beautiful. I can't do that Christina song. I am beautiful no matter what they say, right? Words can't
Bring me down.
bring me down. Yeah. Yeah, every time you say that, baby, you remind me of that Christina Aguilera song, even though I could never hit that high as a man. Anyway,
Uh,
let's go ahead, baby.
I hope not. Yeah, I would hope not.
No, baby. No,
You're
baby.
not
I've got
you're
the
not Adam Levine.
Yeah, no, baby. I really don't have a deep voice. It's just my Shure SM7B that's helping me out big time here. No, no. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Anyway, um, the mic does help, but I do have a bass voice. I'm just joking. Anyway, a willingness to be vulnerable and risk being hurt offers an opportunity for both parties to go deeper together in greater intimacy or intimacy. Ooh, into me see. Do
Ooh,
you see that on your screen?
me see. Yeah.
So you have to be into me see. So basically being into yourself, you got to be into yourself in a non-selfish way, to love yourself enough to allow yourself to be vulnerable to bond and connect with other people for whatever reason, business,
And
personal, etc. Right?
and
Right?
allow somebody to see you. That's
Right.
that's what they're
Right.
saying. Yeah,
Yes.
to see the
Yes.
real you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, let's see here. The willingness to be vulnerable, to be deeply seen, accepted, and loved by ourselves and others is what Breen Brown refers to as wholehearted living. I got nothing more to add to that, baby. I mean, that was just a beautiful section there. I love
Well
talking about
said.
vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, very well said. All right, last part here, baby, before we go on our break is learn and practice, practice, practice. Oh, I can't say that enough. Let's do it one more time. The final section is learn and practice, practice, practice. There are no shortcuts to doing the work of creating vibrant and intimate connections with ourselves and others. Once we educate ourselves, we can then change our behavior and our lives by practicing and integrating these new skills at work and at home. Consider employing step-by-step behavioral change lessons in podcasts, blogs, books, or online learning resources such as those available from the Foundation for Family and Community Healing. Few soft skills have the power to transform your relationships and life, so make it count. Baby, it's all about lather, rinse, repeat, practice, practice, practice. Same thing, different
Yes.
day in a good way, right? Go
Well,
ahead.
yes, and that's what my therapist was saying is, when you start this journaling, you need to continue it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when you start a medication, You can't just take it for until you feel better. You've got to continue taking it because
Right.
that's what you need to survive. And
Right.
so, yeah, no, practice, practice, practice. Um, if you have to get up and talk to yourself and say, today's going to be a great day and I'm going to give one person a compliment, if, that's the only thing I do today. And just practice consideration, vulnerability, because you never know, you could make a new friend when you're
Right.
out there and it could change your life. You never know the opportunities you have when you just sit down at, the park and you say hi to somebody, and you create a conversation, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it is good. It is good to be, I don't want to say to women out there, be completely vulnerable. No, please keep your eyeballs open because, there are predators out there. But
Right.
if you're really looking for somebody, do it the safe way. Um, you know, I mean, I don't know if these I don't think these dating apps do background checks or anything, but you can always download your own background check before you start dating somebody if you have insecurities about getting
Yeah.
out there, because it is scary. You never know.
Well, here's the thing. If you're going to run a background check, and typically I never did one on you initially. I do not know why. I don't know. I had a great feeling about you. Didn't, you know what it was, baby? You didn't give me a reason to do it. You were just so nice and so
I
sweet.
was
And
I
I,
was
go
open
ahead.
and honest about
Everything.
pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
at first. And so I didn't hide anything. I wasn't
Yeah.
reserved, and so I think that's the best way is when you are going to be um creating a new relationship with somebody is to have all the honesty out there because, you don't want them to find something out later on and then you don't have them anymore, because you were
Right.
lying. And
Right.
yeah, it's just
And
not. Go on.
yeah, if you're going to run a background check on someone, at least don't tell them right away. Like if you're a guy and you run a background check on a woman, or if you're a woman and you run a background check on a guy, and let's say you get to a second date, don't tell them on the second date you ran a background check because that's going to really upset them, right? Wait,
Yes.
wait until the honeymoon period's over after 3 months or so, 4 months or so, and at that point you will have spent enough time with each other to the point of where you can laugh something off like that. But, honestly, yeah, I
Yeah.
do agree. You got to protect yourself to a certain extent. But you also have to allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to take those chances, or else you're just not going to get anywhere, whether it's involving
Yes.
dating or business or whatever. Go ahead, baby.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's why I'm saying just do your homework, be safe about it. Um, I know this sounds hypocritical because I went to go meet you in a parking lot, but it was a well-lit parking lot with a lot of people. Some people might say that wasn't the safest thing for me to do, but just like you said, something about talking to you, I just had a good feeling. Now, I've never done that before, just meet somebody and get into a car and, that's not usually what I do, but when I spoke with you and I just think our connection was so deep immediately that that just let me be completely vulnerable with you.
Yeah. No. And you just got to take your best chances. I mean, look, if two people are meant to be together, they're meant to be together. You just got to feel it out. Sometimes you connect with somebody even on a dating app or dating site and you just click through messaging, through a phone conversation, and you just feel like you can trust each other. You gotta, as a woman, you gotta use your intuition and your instinct, and as a man, you gotta do the same thing. And hey, you do that and you hope for the best, right? Um, I think,
Absolutely.
I think, most reasonable men and women, have a good idea before they meet someone in person. If they at least have a phone conversation before they meet, they have a good idea if it's going to feel safe and if there's going to be a good shot of it turning into something or not. So anyway, but yeah, let's take our break, baby. Let's take our break here.
All right.
I'm going to go. Are you ready to do that? I'm going to go ahead and put you backstage.
Yes.
And
Great.
we're going to take about an 8 or 9 minute break and come back for round 2, where, baby, we're going to be discussing highly sensitive people, baby. Like, this is going to be, this is we know a lot of highly sensitive people online and offline, huh, baby?
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be good. So you folks are going to want to stick around for this one. All right, baby. So backstage you go, baby. Bye for now, babe.
All righty. Bye.
All right. So music is all queued up. Music is all queued up. We're going to step away for a brief 8 or 9 minute break. And when we return, we're going to be discussing our second blog, which is going to get more interesting, highly sensitive people. So stick around. Stick around. Stick around. Round. We'll be right back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Get that energy up, energy up, energy up, energy up. Get it up there. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's get back down to business. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on YouTube, live on Coach Eli 2 Uncensored Live Streams, a part of the Coach Eli Network, and the most positive place on the internet. Let me repeat that one more time. This is the most positive place on the internet. And if you're tired of hate and negativity and you want to remove every single bit of that out of your life, we can help you do that. Come hang out with us. We're a positive group of people that will uplift you and support you and help you accomplish everything that your heart desires. Before we get right back to it, if you would like to make a donation to help support the channel, there are many ways you can do that. First, you can go below the chat and click on that $sign down below there. That's the super chat and super sticker. You can send a highlighted message, and the more that you donate, the longer the message will stay highlighted at the top of the chat. You can also send a super sticker if you don't feel like writing anything. Additionally, if you would prefer to donate via Cash App or PayPal, Nightbot's been sharing my PayPal and Cash App links in the chat every 7 minutes. On PayPal, you can go to paypal.me/Coach Eli. And on Cash App, you can go to $The Real Coach Eli. And as always, donations are greatly appreciated, but they are not required. All right, it's been a great show so far. The first part of the show, we were discussing 6 ways to communicate your intimacy needs. And now we're going to be discussing highly sensitive people. Let's bring the lady of the hour, of every hour, in my opinion, back on the show here while the music is still playing. Welcome back to the show there, baby.
Hey, baby.
Baby, how was your break? You feel good?
Oh, yeah, I feel great. I just was here with my dogs. I got a couple things done. You know, the potty break. And just refilled their water. And yeah.
Life is great, isn't it,
sitting
baby?
here waiting for us. Yeah, it's great.
Isn't it great when life is so simple as the way you mentioned it, and it just feels great and no drama? Like, baby, let me ask you this. We've talked about this before in the past, but we can never talk about it enough. We've all, at one point or another, have had a bunch of drama in our lives. And isn't it great to remove all of that and just live a positive, uplifting, happy, and healthy life? Like, what is the difference in your life now compared to how it's been at some points in the past?
Well, it's much better now that, you know, I've met you, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's sometimes up and down still for me, you know?
Yeah.
I have good times, I have bad times. So it's hard to say.
Well, babe, we all have good days and bad days. That doesn't mean that we are living a life full of drama, or, you know, we're not trying to be positive. Even people that, you know, are happy and healthy and live the most positive life possible are going to go through, you know, periods of time where things are just not going the way that, you know, we'd want them to go. But it's how we handle those moments. And, you know, we just say, hey, look, hey, you know what? Things happen. Let's put it behind us and let's find a solution to overcome this and keep moving forward. And that's, you know, what I do to encourage people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I basically kind of look at everything happens for a reason. And if one door closes, another one will open up.
Right.
You just have to have that attitude.
Right. And baby, because I've had moments in my life over the course of my 48 years, where, things weren't going the way I wanted them to go. And, I would lash out at my friends in the past, at my family. And it was full of drama. And, I will tell you, it catches up to you at some point. If you're living a life of drama and you're just behaving in erratic ways, it's gonna take a toll on you and it's gonna catch up to you at one point or another. It caught up to me, and I think it caught up to you, and I think you realized what I realized too. you know when you hit rock bottom, there's only one place to go, right, baby? There's only one place to go when you
Yeah.
hit rock
Just
bottom,
get
right?
back
And
up. You just got to
right,
get back up.
you got to go up. You can only go up. So anyway,
Yeah.
so you ready to get to the second blog, baby, regarding highly sensitive
Yes.
people? All right, let's go ahead
Yes.
and switch on back over to the browser screen. Come on, there you go. It's a little bit off centered. Well, I mean, it's over by the chat, but people will be able to see it. This is from the site PsyPost, which I guess stands for Psychology Post.org. And the title is Study Suggests that Highly Sensitive Persons Exhibit Characteristics of Vulnerable Narcissism. One more time, study suggests that highly sensitive persons exhibit characteristics of vulnerable narcissism, by Beth Elwood, published August 16th, 2022, just 2 days ago. When you saw this on your feed earlier today, babe, what were your thoughts?
It just drew me right in. I said, oh yeah, we need to talk about this one.
And why is that, baby? I'll put you on the spot right now.
I'm a sensitive person.
Okay. That's true. But
I don't know if I exhibit these characteristics. So I just thought, let's read through this. I know a lot of other super sensitive people in my life. And so I was very interested in this topic.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, before we get to it, baby, I think everyone, whether they're a man or a woman, is sensitive to a certain extent. But I think some people channel it differently than others. There's a positive way to channel or a positive and healthy way to channel your sensitivity. And then there's an unhealthy and negative way to channel sensitivity. And that is narcissism, baby. And let's read the first paragraph where it's going to pretty much state, in other words, what I just said. So high sensitivity is typically viewed as a positive trait, while narcissism is viewed as a wholly negative trait. Yet a pair of studies published in the Journal of Clinical Psychology suggests that the characteristics of highly sensitive people and vulnerable narcissists share substantial overlap. And I think what I just mentioned a second ago holds true. Like, what are your thoughts regarding that? Comparing highly sensitive people being a positive thing, while narcissism is a wholly negative trait. What are your thoughts about those two, baby?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if you are being a vulnerable, sensitive narcissist, then you are just taking advantage of everybody that's out there. But if you
Okay.
are just highly sensitive and you're honest with people, it's a better trait to have.
Yeah. Do you think, baby, that some people are so miserable within their lives that they have to do narcissistic things to other people just to make themselves feel better and make them feel accomplished? Like, what are your thoughts regarding that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it it's running rapid here on YouTube. It
Hmm.
happens in real life.
Yeah.
It just is in the job situation. I mean, it's going on everywhere. So, people just they just want to be mean just to make themselves feel better about something they feel bad about themselves. So they're
Well,
projecting that
something that
feeling.
they're something that they're lacking is what you're saying, baby, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
whether it's your job status, the amount of money you make, your relationship, or any other kind of vices. People have alcoholism, drug abuse,
Physical
other things,
attractiveness.
physical attractiveness. Yeah, like
Yeah.
people will just nitpick
Judge.
and judge, try to make other people feel
Yeah.
bad in order to make themselves feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. That's called
I've
projecting. That's
always,
called projecting and narcissism. But go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've always lived by that golden rule. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all,
Right. Right.
you know?
I agree. Anything else, baby, or should we continue?
No, we can continue.
Okay. The studies were conducted by researcher Emmanuel Jock and his colleagues who were
Jock.
intrigued by the yes, who were intrigued by the apparent similarity between certain features of high sensitivity and narcissism. The term highly sensitive person was coined by Elaine Aron in 1996. Well, I think people have been saying that before that, but I guess if she wants to claim it, well, okay. The construct describes people who have an increased sensitivity to sensory stimulation and are more easily overwhelmed by stimuli. People with high sensitivity tend to view the trait as both a blessing and a curse. Well, a lot of these narcissistic people, baby, are actually very, very intelligent. They just lack self-belief. That's my thought. What are your thoughts?
Yes, about the narcissistic people, but I think what they're saying there with people with high sensitivity, they're saying it's a blessing and a curse because there are people that um they're sensitive to sound, they're sensitive to light, they're sensitive to emotions, you know, uh, but they're also like if they're sensitive, that means they also could be very loving and compassionate. So that's why
Yeah.
it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yeah, you're talking about sensory overload is what you're kind of
Yes.
saying there, right?
Yes.
And that
Yes.
happens to you. That does happen to you quite often, huh? You get sensory overload all the time, don't you? Especially when you're around me,
Yes,
baby.
but so do you.
A
So do
little bit,
you,
yeah, yeah. I do sometimes. I do.
especially with my music.
Yeah, and it's not even just the fact that you're playing music. A lot of times you're playing some very, very depressing music that makes you feel better because it helps you work through your emotional roller coaster. Um, and so I'm actually trying to get a lot better at just you know handling it and just embracing it. And now that I know
Yeah.
more about what you're going through, I can handle it a lot better. But yeah, I get it. Sensory overload is a topic. That's something we should look into and do a show on that at some point because that's very important. But let's
Yeah.
continue. Let's continue. While high sensitivity gives them unique abilities, it also makes navigating society a challenge since they have different needs. A number of people identify with being highly sensitive, said Jock, a researcher and clinical psychologist at the Medical University of Graz. While the concept is certainly appealing as it provides a biologically oriented explanation for their respective aspects of one's personality and emphasizes their adaptive qualities, identifying as highly sensitive might also stand in opposition to personal growth in certain aspects. And yeah, I think that at least in my experience, babe, in my younger days, when I was a lot more emotionally reactive than I am today, it did affect me from, getting ahead in life, getting promoted at work. It affected my relationships from lasting longer. It affected me on all aspects of life. I think that, a lot of people really don't want to be around too long around highly sensitive people because it can be very emotionally taxing and emotionally draining. What are your thoughts about that before we continue?
Oh yeah. A lot of times highly sensitive people are also attention seeking. And so they're always looking for
Mm-hmm.
that attention, and they want to see, did I do this okay? Is this right? Whether it's, in the house, like, oh, is this dinner okay, honey? Did I cook it right for you? Or if it's at the job, boss, did I do this report well? They're always looking for that attention and
Right.
affirmation that they're doing well, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But baby, here's the thing. Like I've said this before, I'll say it again. To a certain point, a certain extent, it is perfectly normal. You're talking about validation seeking behavior. It is perfectly normal for women to a
Yeah.
certain level to seek the validation of, their friends, their family, and especially the man that they're with. But when it comes to men, validation seeking behavior is a big no-no because women are looking up to you, the man, for your strength to offset those insecurities and those vulnerabilities, right? Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No. Oh, no, you can continue, babe. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Let's continue here. Jock and his team proposed that this sense that one is different than others may lead highly sensitive people to feel they are special and deserving of special treatment. That's definitely not true. We'll share more in a second. These features, the author said, called to mind two fundamental characteristics of narcissism: entitlement and self-importance. Let's say those two words once again: entitlement and self-importance. Now, self-importance deep within yourself, that's self-love. I agree with that. But entitlement, and I hate to do this again, let's go back to the millennial generation, primarily millennial men. I'd say about 2/3 of millennial men have the entitlement attitude in ways unlike anything I've ever seen throughout any other generation in the history of our time, right? And a lot of the women have the entitlement attitude, but I am more so seeing the men age 25 to 40 really, really struggle with this. They have that entitlement attitude because of the way they were raised and the lack of parenting they got. So they're trying to make up for it, by just going out there and feeling that they're automatically entitled to anything and everything. What are your thoughts about that before we continue, babe?
Yeah, I know you like to pinpoint the millennials, but in my experience, I've seen this in all ages, this entitlement and self-importance.
Yes.
There are just some people that just feel that they are better than other people.
Right.
Um, and that's where this comes from. They feel that, you know, their importance is better than the other person. And
Right.
sometimes they will use that as um as something, to manipulate. Like that's where the narcissism comes in, you know, and they might try to manipulate and bring people in and take advantage.
Right. And babe, let me just get in here one more time because I mentioned something similar on my Walking with Purpose stream earlier today here on this channel, Coach Eli 2 Authentic Live Streams. Um, yeah, it's not just the millennial men. It is men from all generations. But for the most part, most of it is caused by the millennial men. The Gen Z men, from what I've noticed, and the Gen X men and the baby boomer men, yeah, there are some that have the entitlement attitude, right? But there are far fewer than the millennials. The millennial men, I've just never seen any generation of men that has behaved as entitled and strange and narcissistic than 2/3 of the millennial men out there. Again, I'm not saying it's all millennial men. There are a lot of good millennial men out there that have old school roots and defy the stereotype, but the majority of the people creating this are the millennial men. That's just what I've seen. Just because of the
Yeah,
time that
it all has to do
yeah,
it
yeah,
all
go
has to
ahead.
do with how they were raised, their upbringing, the role models that they had.
And the time period they
Um,
were
y-
raised, the time period they were raised where technology was changing, and these people, these millennial men, they spend more time online, at least 2/3 of them. They spend more time online projecting their insecurities than going out there and living life. But go ahead.
well, yeah, I mean, and that comes from childhood also. If you're
Right.
not making your kid get out there and play sports and go outside and play, and they're just getting total like screen time all day long, then yeah, they're gonna expect everything handed to them. They're not gonna want to get up and do anything for themselves, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, hello, Tam, Miss T.
Hey, Tam, Miss T. Good afternoon, Eli. It's good evening here. You're in a different country. I think the UK. Um,
Australia, I think.
yes. Hope you both have had a great day. We've had an amazing day. My lady's been getting some rest. Did a walking stream earlier and was going to do this show with or without my lady, and she decided to join me at the last minute. She was feeling great, and I'm glad that she's here. But welcome to the show there, Tam. Go ahead, baby. Sorry, just wanted to say hello.
Oh yeah, no, no, I said hello as well. So I think I was kind of done with that segment. We can go on to the next one.
All right, let's go ahead and continue. Moreover, the vulnerable facet of narcissism involves a sensitivity to social stimuli, which resembles the sensitivity to external stimuli seen among highly sensitive people. And again, what I'm seeing nowadays, baby, this is the thing. Like biologically, women were biologically made to be more sensitive than men. Let's be real about it. Is that a fair statement, baby, or correct me if I'm wrong?
I believe that that is fair for some women, not all women. I don't want to blanket it, but I would say majority of women, we act on our emotions right away.
Okay, you
It's
said
what
the
we're currently
majority.
feeling.
Well, baby, here's the thing. This
Yes.
is without listen. I understand that women are liberated, and I respect that. You know, I've always respected women having equal rights and equal pay for equal work, equal opportunities. Right? When I'm speaking about biology, I'm talking about women at a natural feminine biological essence are going to technically be more sensitive than men biologically at a normal masculine biological level. The problem is nowadays we've got these beta female dog boys, let's say that to be YouTube compliant and advertiser friendly. We've got these beta, female dog boys, right? You know what I'm saying, right? Okay? And
Yeah.
these beta female dog boys are basically more sensitive, more highly sensitive than their female counterparts. And that's why, and it's happening primarily again with about 2/3 of millennial men. And it's just I don't get me wrong. I'm not even trying to be critical. I'm saddened by it, but at the same time, it's really fucking pathetic to see how
And
sad
that is
these millennial.
why
Yeah.
that's why a majority of the millennial age group has the highest rate of like single parents, whether it's the mother or the father, you know?
Well, that's
Because I don't
because.
want to just say that men are doing this, because there are some nasty women out there that are very entitled and into themselves, and
Mhm.
they don't nurture their children in ways, and they bring them up in a harsh way, you know?
I
So it's
agree with
not the
that.
same kind of nourishing. N-
I
I
I
said
I
nourishing, but you know what I mean.
baby, I agree with you. I totally agree with what you're saying. But the sad thing I'm seeing is, despite how men and women are being raised, both the millennial men and women, both of them, both sexes have not had the best upbringing. But what's happening is, despite how women are being raised, whether they were raised properly or not, they are still outperforming men with college degrees, and they're still out earning men. And so,
Oh,
if the women, if hold on a second, then I want to get your thoughts. If these women if these millennial women that have had a similar upbringing as these millennial men that are struggling because of that same upbringing, if these women are able to push through it and say, okay, I didn't have the best upbringing, from my mother or father or father, and maybe it was a broken household, I'm still going to go to college, get a degree, and get a good job and make something out of myself. And so these women are turning their lives around by deciding to do something about it. Most of the millennial men, 2/3 of millennial men in this situation, just give up on their life, baby. That's all I'm saying. Does that make
and do
sense
you
to
know
you?
why the women are doing this? That's
Because,
exactly why women are doing this, is because there's not a lot of these men that have a
mhm,
spine that's going to go out there and work and provide
right.
and actually, you know, take care of a family. And I'm not saying that um she doesn't have to work or do anything. No, absolutely, there's no problem with having the man and the woman work, but a lot of times these women are the breadwinners, and the guys are just deadbeats, and they're sitting at home, and they say they're babysitting their babies. Well, no, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, you're just being a father at that point. You're not babysitting. um but and then they get angry because they can't go out and do their things, because that's what they want to do. They want to go out and hang out with their friends, play basketball, video games, whatever, but they can't because now they have these kids and she's out there working.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, no, the women are being forced to make up for the lack of masculinity. And that's what's upsetting. That's why these millennial guys don't like me, because I'm being truthful about the way they're living their lives. And it's not that I'm trying to attack these men. I'm trying to say, you guys can still turn your lives around, and get your shit together. I'm the least of your worries. I'm the least of your worries. I've got my shit together regardless of what you think. I'm in a happy and good place, right? And I'd love it for you guys to be in a happy and good place too. But see, a lot of times these guys, instead of turning their lives around, they encounter guys like me and other people like me all over the internet, and all they do is project and troll. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. And they're just going to die miserable, baby. That's the bottom line. Anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah. No, no, you nailed it. I
Yeah.
just want to say hi to Information Man Show. That's here.
Hey, Information Man Show, welcome to the show. We're doing quite well. Thank you for stopping by. I still need to make your streams, bro. It's just been one thing after the other here in my neck of the woods. And at some point, my lady and I'll come out to Sacramento where you're at. Maybe we'll do lunch or something, bro. It'd be great to hang out with you. But great to see you here, bro, and hope you're doing well as well. All right, baby. Let's continue here. Contents of online forums as well as clinical experience suggest that those who consider themselves highly sensitive might also display self-regulatory mechanisms, which are characteristics of hypersensitive narcissism or more generally vulnerable narcissism, Jacques told SciPost. In a pair of studies, the researchers explored whether the constructs of high sensitivity and vulnerable narcissism share common characteristics. two separate samples of 280 adults from Germany and 310 adults from the United Kingdom completed online questionnaires that assessed various personality characteristics as well as psychological and somatic symptoms. Both samples completed the Highly Sensitive Person Scale, HSPS, which assessed participants' tendency to feel overwhelmed, ease of excitation, sensitivity to external stimuli, low sensory threshold, and sensitivity to aesthetic value, aesthetic sensitivity. They also completed two measures of vulnerable narcissism via the Hypersensitive Narcissism Scale, HSNS, and the Brief Pathological Narcissism Inventory, B-PNI. In both studies, high sensitivity was positively correlated with hypersensitive narcissism and vulnerable narcissism. In particular, the ease of excitation factor was most strongly tied to the two measures of narcissism. There was also evidence that high sensitivity shares the entitlement that is characteristic of narcissism. Do you feel, baby, that, and again, I'm not just trying to pick on the millennials. There are entitled people from every generation, but the generation that redefined entitlement were the millennials, especially millennial men. Do you feel that that these entitled millennials or entitled people in general are narcissistic? Do you think it's narcissism?
I don't want to blanket anything. I think that there are some out there that we've actually come into contact with, but I
Okay.
know several millennials, male and female, that don't hold any of these traits. And I do believe it has a lot to do with the upbringing that they had. For instance, a lot of my daughter's personal friends, they have all done well for themselves. They've got men in their life that are doing well, and everything seems quote unquote normal. And I mean, I would say that is the majority of my daughter's friends. And I'm only mentioning her because she is the millennial. My son is Gen Z.
Mm-hmm.
But my son is a completely different personality than my daughter.
Yeah, and
He
a
is
lot of that has. Go ahead.
he's a
Go ahead.
lot more he's a lot more responsible. He handles his money and his job situations very well. He takes them serious. He's a very hard worker. He's very smart. I'm not saying that my daughter isn't. She's a very smart girl. She's like almost as smart as I am. But I do believe that she would rather just be at home and be a housewife than go out and work.
You know what I think it is, baby? And I've been really analyzing this over the last 5 or 6 years that I've been doing the coaching on YouTube. I think that Gen Z saw how stereotyped and labeled the millennial generation was and still is. And I can't blame them. And I think it's not just your son as a Gen Zer, it's the entire Gen Z generation is saying, screw this. We do not want to be labeled such as the millennials. We want to stand out. We want to be a more appreciated part of society and not a labeled part of society. Baby, here's the thing. And again, I feel bad for the millennials. I'm not even trying to criticize them. I'm just saying there's never been a generation that's been more labeled and stereotyped than the millennials. And despite the fact that your daughter is a millennial, go ahead.
Yeah. I would say, or maybe the baby boomers.
No, the boomers didn't get it as bad. No, I'm sorry. No. And maybe that's because social media and the internet wasn't available back then. I think one of the main reasons why the millennials are the way they are is because they were the first ones to really hit these social media sites, right? Now, don't get me wrong. You and I were born during the time where technology was just starting to grow. We had dial-up modems and this and that. But the millennial generation, when they were growing up, high-speed internet was just being released. And, all this social media was just coming out, and they got onto the forefront of that. And they basically, instead of going out and making shit happen in the real world, they all became digital characters. And the funny thing is, many of these millennials, they'll sit there and they invented the meme. Like, I'm going to meme you. Okay, meme me. Coach Eli meme. Like, dude, that's so cool. Like, you want to sit around all day and make cartoons on Coach Eli. I'm just saying this for example purposes. That just shows, how true the stereotype is regarding this generation. These people
and the intelligence level.
Oh, baby, here's the thing. The millennials have the capability to be the most intelligent generation on the planet. They are just what's the right way to put it? They are just not using their intelligence. They're just not using their intelligence in the right areas. Hold on. They're not using their intelligence in the right areas, and they're lazy as fuck. They are. They are the laziest goddamn generation that's ever lived, especially the millennial men. And I'm not saying all of them, about 2/3 of them.
That's because as parents,
you gave them everything. You handed everything to them on a silver platter.
On
a silver platter. Yep. Yeah. Amen, sister. Amen.
Yep.
Absolutely. And listen, you're a mother of a millennial. So they don't have to believe what I say. You are a mother of a millennial. You have personal experience regarding this, right? Go ahead. Go ahead, baby.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I just remember when I was growing up, and I was as a teenager, my dad did go and get me a car, but in order for him to get me a car, I had to get a job and I had to pay my gas and my insurance.
And your insurance, right. Right. Same for me.
And so
same thing.
That was And so, but nowadays, these kids are driving around in Teslas that are being just bought for them.
Yep.
And it's ridiculous, It's just shows no responsibility.
Well, what ended up happening, baby, was that the millennial generation was the most coddled generation on the planet, because the parents, both parents were working, and some parents, let's say there was a divorce, in order to have some free time for themselves, they had to coddle the kids by giving them everything to occupy the kids while the parents do other things they want to do. And there are some more extreme things I can get into about what certain people have been through and experienced, but I'm not gonna stoop down to that level, but the millennials have been through a lot. Their upbringing has been like the worst in history of any generation. It's just, they had terrible upbringings.
Yeah, we messed up.
I'm not saying you didn't, baby. I'm not saying you messed up. Okay, you did the best you
I'm
can
saying
with
we as a generation messed up.
Society messed this whole thing up. Is what happened.
Society
messed this whole thing up. Wow, baby. Baby, you're at the sensory overload of this topic, of this specific segment, right? All right, let's continue. In study 2, overall HSPS scores were tied to vulnerable-based entitlement. Vulnerable-based entitlement. As were the ease of excitation and low sensory threshold factors. This likely indicates that highly sensitive individuals, to some extent, hold an attitude of, I am fragile. Oh, a lot of these millennial men are very fragile. Like, they get triggered so easily.
Baby, I want you to stop saying just men. It's both men and women.
Okay, there's a difference.
Stop.
I'll explain.
Yeah.
Oh, baby, I'm entitled to my opinion, right?
yes, but you know what? I know, that especially speaking of this, there are a lot of women who do go through this.
I agree, baby, but there's a difference. Okay, the difference is this. I'm going to say this one more time with no disrespect. I'm not disrespecting women. I'm actually, if I'm doing anything, I'm giving women a hell of a lot more credit than these men. And I'm going to tell you why. The problem is that men are supposed to be strong. They're not supposed to be so goddamn fragile. They're not supposed to overreact. They're supposed to be emotionally strong and emotionally stable, but they're pathetic, weak, beta female dogs. And the women, including you and including your daughter and all of them, these women are stronger emotionally than their male counterparts. It's pathetic. The sexual polarity has flipped. That's what's frustrating. That's what's frustrating.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
Did you hear what I was saying?
I hit my phone. No, I didn't. I hit my phone, the button on the side, and it turned you off.
You just hit the phone when I just went off and said everything. I'm going to say it one more time and get your feedback and move forward. Okay? Look, I understand what you're saying, and I'm actually I'm actually more so taking the woman's side, and I'm not even coming at women. I'm coming at men because real strong men are not supposed to be fragile and weak beta female dog boys. I'm saying that to be YouTube compliant. That's the problem nowadays. You got a lot of these millennial men and a lot of men in general that are behaving very feminine. Masculinity, baby, is not fragile. Men are supposed to be the rock, indestructible. I'm not saying we are technically indestructible, but we're supposed to have the attitude of strength. You as a woman look up to me, like you look up to me for my strength. If I was a weak, fragile man, baby, do you think we'd still be together, or do you think you would have traded me in for somebody else?
Well, yeah, I understand what you're saying, babe. But I
what?
just think that, well, yeah, no, I mean, we probably wouldn't be together. But I do like that whole statement of I am fragile, so I deserve to avoid any discomfort. That just sounds like something a woman would say.
I understand that. I totally understand that. But the problem nowadays is that these men are not real men. They're more fragile than the women, right? The women are stronger than the men, and the men are weak as hell. That's the problem. Seriously, that's the problem.
All right, let's go on.
Sweetheart, I'm not trying to be a jerk here. I'm really trying to help people turn their lives around. But if we're gonna sit here and pussyfoot around what's happening, then no one's gonna get anywhere, right? But let's continue.
Well, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to not blanket just one, millennial men. I think that it goes both ways, and it's not even just millennials, but I get what you're saying. So, alrighty.
Real quick before we move on, every generation has weak men and has, erratic women. Let's just call it that, okay? All I'm saying is that the generation that this became very apparent more so than ever before, was the millennial generation. Before the millennial generation, we didn't have an incredible amount of men behaving like female beta male or female dog boys. We didn't have men acting like female dog boys, right? Okay, that's the problem. That's all I'm saying. So let's just move forward, because this topic, it makes me heated, not because I don't hate millennials. I don't hate millennial men. I am disappointed that these guys are still just, not doing whatever they can to turn their lives around. That's the thing. They're just still being lazy and entitled. But anyway, this likely indicates that highly sensitive individuals to some extent hold an attitude of "I am fragile, so I deserve to avoid any discomfort." Similar to those who display hypersensitive narcissism, the authors wrote again. In both studies, high sensitivity and narcissism shared ties to neuroticism and introversion, and neuroticism explained a large part of the covariance between the two traits. Both traits were also linked to greater symptoms of psychological distress and a higher likelihood of mental health diagnosis. One study showed that high sensitivity and hypersensitive narcissism are not the same thing, but they do have significant overlaps, Jock told SciPost. In particular, they do share self-regulatory mechanisms which likely counteract personal growth in the long run. This is particularly true for individuals who show strong ease of excitation, a characteristic of high sensitivity, which circumscribes irritability by external stimulation, paired with an attitude that discomfort must be avoided. So excitation probably means, being excited, baby. Is that how you're taking it? How are you taking this? Because these are some very fancy words here, baby, from the psychologist.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. No, it is over excitability. And what's happening, what they're saying is basically in your brain, your neurotransmitters are not responding the right way. They're not syncing right when you're
Yeah.
in one of these situations.
Yeah. Yeah. See, all of this can turn around. Like, people that are struggling with this can turn things around. They just have to choose to make that change. And when they choose to make that change, they've got to immediately start. Not tomorrow, not next week. Start right now. And they can turn their lives around. But until they decide deep within themselves to start making that change, no one can help them, not even themselves. They can't even participate in their own rescue until they decide to make that change. Anyway, let's continue, baby. We're almost done here. Folks, get your questions, comments, concerns in the chat. We're going to be going off the air probably in about 10 to 15 minutes. Let me see. I think we're almost at the bottom. Yeah, we're getting there. We just have a few more paragraphs. Let me see. Where did we leave off? Okay, yeah, here we go. One of the main suggestions for clinicians working with patients who consider themselves highly sensitive, or for readers who see aspects of high sensitivity in themselves, could be to critically evaluate aspects of a high sensitivity mindset with respect to the extent to which they really benefit the individual. Okay, that works. The researchers said that their study is not an attempt to pathologize high sensitivity, but rather to study all aspects of high sensitivity and narcissism, including the favorable and unfavorable aspects. Well, I don't think there's anything favorable regarding narcissism. And I don't think it's even, to be honest with you, being a highly sensitive individual, I don't think is the healthiest thing. I think being sensitive in nature, in a reasonable way, is normal, but being highly sensitive, is not good. It can be very emotionally draining, not only on you, but other people around you. And it's going to repel other people around you from wanting to be around you, right? And being a narcissist, here's the thing. With narcissists, they can play it off for a little while, like they're this great guy or great gal. But, you start dating a narcissist, and within 2 to 3 months, when the honeymoon period's over, you're going to know they're a narcissist, and you're going to dump them, right? I mean, seriously, that's how it works. Anything you want to add to that, babe?
Nope.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. No, you said it
Okay.
perfectly.
Oh, okay. I thought I wasn't giving you a chance to talk. Oh,
Oh,
baby.
no, 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 you're good, baby.
Okay, okay. All right. We wish to emphasize that we try to regard neither of the constructs as pathological or normal in nature, but instead try to study them as what they are, including more adaptive aspects alongside potentially more problematic ones, Jock explained. We believe that only a perspective facing both desirable and undesirable qualities of one's personality in an upfront manner allows for individual growth. Let me read that one more time and get your thoughts on this, babe. We believe that only a perspective facing both desirable and undesirable qualities of one's personality in an upfront manner allows for individual growth. Baby, what that's saying is somebody, that's normal and healthy is going to be real with you, and they're going to share with you the good and bad about them, and be an open and honest person. And that does allow for individual growth. That allows for someone to get to know the real you and to be able to trust you as well. What are your thoughts regarding that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. And that's why I'm going to just say I really believe in therapy. Because, it really is hard um, to talk to people that because it does put a lot of emotional strain on them. And a lot of times they don't want to be the tough love person and tell you. So if you go and you get the right help, these are completely, unbiased people that will they want to help you with your personal growth. And that's what I would recommend.
Okay. Okay. Well said, baby. Well said. Like, this has been another great show tonight. Like, the shows we've done lately, just if people just watch them and listen carefully, it could really help turn their lives around and they can accomplish everything they want. Last paragraph, folks. Get your questions, comments, and concerns in the chat. We'll be going off the air in about 5 to 7 minutes or so. A limitation of both studies that was personality traits were assessed using self-report questionnaires, which tend to be less accurate than clinical reports. The authors said that future research might try to gather outside reports in addition to self-reports, or even obtain behavioral data via experimental paradigms. So, I mean, there's a lot of work being done to better understand highly sensitive people, and how that correlates with vulnerable narcissism, right? Do you think people that are narcissistic, baby, in your opinion, are highly are people that are just highly vulnerable people, and they just can't admit that they're vulnerable, so they have to hide their vulnerabilities through narcissism? Like, what are your thoughts regarding that?
Yeah, I think my thing is I think narcissism is about control,
Yeah.
and
Why?
they
Why
will
is it about control? Why? Go ahead.
well, let me just finish this. So,
Okay.
let's say for instance you are in a relationship, and you know that there's one thing that you could say to your spouse that will get them to do whatever, because it's a
Hmm.
trigger from the past.
Right.
um that's a narcissistic behavior, because you are trying to manipulate a system in order to or a situation in order to get attention for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yep.
So but I I know that I can be sensitive at times. I get my feelings hurt. Um, but I don't believe that I have the narcissistic behavior, because I am an open book. I just tell everybody how I feel. So, I'm not trying to get anything out of it. I'm just trying to communicate so people understand why I'm acting, why I was so sensitive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, that's pretty much my take on it. And the only other thing is that if anybody is suffering from any other mental health situations like possibly being bipolar or personality disorder, schizophrenia. All of this is going to be heightened, like
Hmm.
with conditions like that, and that will trigger, an even worse response with that. So, like borderline personality disorder, that that's a scary thing with one of these highly sensitive narcissists. Because one day they're sweet as pie, and then the next day they're a raging lunatic.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, baby, makes a narcissist so controlling? Why do you think they're so controlling? You think it stems back to their lack of parenting and lack of not getting enough strokes as a little
Attention,
kid from their family, lack of attention and all that, right? Go ahead.
lack of attention, maybe lack of attention, maybe they were bullied as a
Hmm.
child, they were
Right.
picked on. Maybe they were the shortest kid in the class and they were picked on, and then they got a growth
Hmm.
spurt and now they're
Yeah.
just feeling more confident. I mean, it could come from anything
True.
that does and I mean, in fact, I know a woman who is a narcissist. She is, and she has said openly she's been accused of it several times, but I believe it was from the trauma of her ex-husband. That's what
Yeah.
caused her narcissistic tendencies.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what's funny, baby? And it's not even funny. It's a serious thing and it's really sad. A lot of these, people that were bullied as a little kid have now come out here on YouTube and other social media platforms and have become cyber bullies. They're not even bullies in
Yeah,
real life. Number one, because they're too chicken shit to ever confront anyone because they would get their ass beat. Trust me, you would get your ass beat. To those of you out there that have become online cyber bullies because you were bullied in real life growing up, right? And so, you know,
absolutely.
um,
Yeah.
it's really sad that instead of working through it in a different way, um, a lot of people that have been cyberbullied can turn it around. They can talk about it in a positive way and try to help other people prevent from being cyberbullied or bullied, right? Okay. But instead, a
Yes.
lot of these people come out on these platforms and they just bully other people and they just self-destruct and it just the issue just never ever goes away. And it's just really sad, seeing this happen to many people that could easily decide to say, hey, I've had enough. I'm going to turn my life around. I'm going to stop picking and bullying other people. I'm going to become a better person today and stop letting my past haunt me. Final thoughts, baby, and we're going to wrap this up.
Well, yeah, because these these people that are cyberbullying, hiding behind their keyboard,
Hmm.
they don't know how they're affecting these other people's lives, because on YouTube, nobody is actually a true friend on YouTube.
Hmm.
We all
Yep.
don't know each other, you know? And so you have no idea what's going on in their actual day-to-day life. And when
Right.
you're doing these things, you might even send somebody into a tailspin where they might decide to off themselves
Yep.
because they're just tired of the bullying. And it's
Yep.
just so unfortunate,
Yep.
because there are a lot of people on YouTube that have some mental health, who have some disabilities,
Hmm.
and you just don't know um, what's gonna set them off, you know.
Yep.
So
There's
I want to get that out there. That's not
yeah,
healthy to do. I mean,
baby, real quick, there are several creators I've seen out here on YouTube, and I will say this. They are all men that are doing I'm not saying women don't do this, and maybe I just haven't seen it. And maybe I haven't seen it because women either don't do it at all or don't do it nearly as much as men do. But I've seen many, many men. And again, for the most part, it's been millennial men aged 25 to 40, some Gen Zers, some Gen Xers, but primarily these millennial men that are big on memes. And they're so desperate for attention on YouTube that they will go as far and tell other creators to off themselves, right? And even if they're saying it as a joke, it's not a joking matter. It's not a joking matter because people may actually do it.
Yeah.
People may actually do it. And it's really, really sad that YouTube even allows these creators to do this type of shit on the platform and come at people this way because people have off themselves over this stuff. The problem is it's such a huge platform, it's almost impossible for YouTube to see all of this, right? Until it's too late, right? Then another YouTuber takes their life and boom, it's too late. We can't help someone that's gone. We can't help someone that's gone, right? But yeah, that's the thing, baby. That's the thing. You know, these people that have been bullied in the past have now become cyber bullies. And they don't even realize. They don't even realize what they're doing half the time and how much it's not only harming other people, but continuing to harm themselves. Final thoughts, baby. Final thoughts, baby. And then we're going to get on out of here and we can talk by phone briefly before we go to bed.
I just think this, I think this has been a great show. I thank you for having me. I also want to thank everybody who was here tonight, the positive people, as well as the negative ones. You know, I'm just in a good mood. So, thank you for everything. And then, when you shut it all down, give me a call.
Will do, baby. And you're always welcome here. We're running this together. You know, whenever you need a break, you take a break. I'll do it on my own. Whenever you're around, you're around. But I'll tell you this. What I notice is when you don't expect things from people, they're more prone to want to do things for you. And, you know, that's how, you know, I even do things in our relationship. I love doing things with you. I will always offer you, but I will always also give you the option to rest if that's what, you know, you need more of, you know. So,
yeah.
All right, baby. Thank you, baby. I'm going to put you backstage. Say goodbye to everyone. Bye, baby.
Bye.
Bye. All right. That was my lady, and that is the show, folks. We're at 2 hours and 3 minutes. Perfect. It is 11:43 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:43 p.m. Pacific Time. All right, folks. I've got a lot more content coming, especially on the main channel later tonight, unless I'm extremely tired. I'm going to talk with my lady, take a bath, and then I'm going to record some YouTube shorts, and you're going to start seeing some content really hit hard on my main channel. We're going to be pumping out content like it's out of style. It's going to be Coach Eli and his lady and other people that are working with us all day, every day. We're going to get to the point of even when we're, you know, when my lady and I are taking weekends off, we will have enough content pre-recorded for the main channel that you'll be able to watch stuff over there on the weekends when we're not going live here. And some weekends we still may go live here. We're going to keep putting out as much content as possible. It's going to help each and every one of you better your lives in any way that you want to better your life. So with that being said, thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you to my lady and everyone else that was here and also watching behind the scenes. With that being said, have yourselves a great night. Take care. And as always, be good to each other.